Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Jay Voodoo Child, and we are playing Total War Troy on Epic. We are playing a Spartan campaign. It is turn 68, and this has been a very important turn for me because I've captured Helen. I may ultimately pay the price for that, though, because Menelaus
King Menelaus
is surrounded by Hector's people. And I suspect that this guy's close enough to attack the city, which I just took over. And you will be in marching range. And I suspect Hector himself will be in marching range. In fact, yes, you'll be definitely close enough to marching range. So, march, attack. Menelaus might get wiped out. This my original stack
never slight me.
of wonderful troops that I've been gaining experience with all along. Could very well be wiped out. It would be a tough battle. As you can see, I'm injured. And if that's the case, I'm okay with it. Do I want to unequip all of his items? Or replace him? That could be fun too. Let me think on that. That's an interesting thought. But let's talk about agents.
I can make your
I've recruited all 9 agents. And they're nearly max level. And that's because I've taken painstaking time and resources to stack bonuses to get up to this level. And I have gone through and upgraded them. So for my spies, basically they serve one purpose only. There is a particular, I think it's 12. No. Where is it? Nine. That's right. This is probably the most important factor on this skill tree. Plus 50 gold, which is a finite resource in this game. Whenever I go against a enemy settlement. And with other skills in here, I have 30% damage on any enemy garrison. And I have 3 spies. So 90% if they all gang up on the same town, and 150 gold per turn while your target is active. You may have a turn or two in between moving to a new city to mess with. So you won't have your gold income for that. But, you know, this is kind of an unlimited source of gold, in my opinion. And because these spies are so highly ranked, they're very hard to deal with. But the second thing I try and do on the skill chain is to increase the chance of success. However, down in 13, there's another important skill. The action points will be drained if it fails. So, as long as I have the money for it, which is food, I can keep repeating my actions until they succeed. And only then will my action points go away and I can do nothing more for the turn. So eventually I will be successful. Eventually I will hurt the garrison for 90% and get 150 gold. And I do have other things to increase that chance of success. This also helps because I'm ganging up. So when all 3 agents are in the same region, they all have 30% success on their actions. And I think I'm right at 100% at the start of the game. There can be a negative trait that I will get for minus 5%. So I'm right at 95% chance of success against any garrison. And no matter what the size is, it does not affect my chances. So my chances are very high. Right now, because I have a 20% discount on agent actions from my deities, I don't pay anything for attacking that garrison. Now, I'm going to be resetting a lot of my temples, so I'll probably lose that for a period of time. But as soon as I get that back, I can just continue attacking the city until I get success for free. So unlimited times of trying and unlimited amount of gold that I can pull from in the game. Now the other option on the gold is bronze and more of it. However, I think I can trade 8 bronze for every 5 gold. That is if I need the bronze. So this is probably the most valuable resource in the game. And not a lot of people have access to it. So this increases the value because it is finite to a lot of people. So I should be able to get at least 8, if not 10, 15 for every gold. So that's why I'm still going with gold. Also, my gold income has been practically nothing all game long, and this will solve any of my gold needs later on when I start recruiting those gold units and what have you. So, and then the other thing I try and do on the skill tree is to decrease the effectiveness of, like, this one right here is this not even tertiary ability. So for the 14th, which is usually the big one, Poison Well cannot fail, and minus costs to actions. Now, my Poison Well is versus the army. I'm going to be concentrating on, let's see. Yeah, Murmurs of Sedition. I don't have it here. There. So upon successful actions against foreign settlement, this is a foreign settlement, Murmurs of Sedition. I'm doing extra damage, 10% here, 10% here, and 10% here. So the rest of the tree is focusing on chance of success, movement, agent defense, and then just a couple miscellaneous abilities here and there that are usually gatekeepers to other abilities that I kind of want. And so that's what we do with the spies. And we just kind of keep them together and we put them in front of an army, take out 90% of the garrisons. I can walk right in with a small army or my large sack, just auto resolve, no problems. Or I can take on the army stack that is on there, as does a regular stack. And just have a, 1-to-1 battle with that with, just 10% annoyance from the garrison. So, very effective unit, especially in the swarm. And this kind of really breaks the game to have these guys at such a high level leading an army or being in advance of an army. All right, emissaries. I have 3 different traits, if you will. One is movement, one is influence, and the other is upkeep. Now, the reason why I like emissaries so much is because they can get up to 30% off of buildings when you target your own buildings. So 20% here and 20% influence on the successful. Whenever you are targeting your own settlement, it's automatically 100% successful. The other one is here. 10%. No, that's idle. Here we go. So here's the other 10% on construction talk. So these 2 are like mandatory for all my emissaries. Now, another thing. All right, so over here. Standing passively increases production. So you have like a standing idle. You can reduce the upkeep by being a part of an army. You can increase the influence of a settlement, but while I'm doing that, I'm reducing the cost of any new buildings by 30%. I can increase the influence of foreign settlements, and there's some other things in the skill tree that you can do other abilities like that, building discount up here. Lead astray foreign army, so you can target armies and slow them down. You can target foreign agents and slow them down. I mean, armies, agents versus armies in Total War games in the past have been very important. It's a side of the game that I really lean into. And so freezing armies or having them unable to reinforce other armies that I'm attacking that they think are safe in numbers because they have backup. Those are all things that I enjoy setting up scenarios on. I'm not quite sure it works as well in this game. But, decreasing the campaign movement is not all that sexy to me. There are other things you can do to the army when you're successful with this. They're just not really sexy for me. Kind of the same thing, if not worse, for foreign agents. Reducing their movement. One of the things is like, if you have an agent move up to your agent and, well, not even that. You move your agent to do this action on another agent. You are successful. You lose all of your action points, so you can't move. So you've just moved up to their agent. You've attacked him, and he says, you can't have any movement your next round. Well, one of the things that they're trying to do is to do the same to your agent. And you've just moved up into them, so they don't have to move in order for them to attack you. So this really seems silly to me. And the other one is you can kill or wound an agent. But this is a special unlock within here. So Godless and Accuser. So if we find those abilities in here. Okay, there's the sub abilities, sorry. Where are you? Godless, there's one of them. So, enables denounce treachery action, and this one gives me 20% on attacking priestesses and knocking them out. I like targeting priestesses, and I even stacked it up there, so plus 40%, because the AI builds lots of temples and throws a lot of priestesses out there. The other one is Spy, where you get 20 or 30% versus them. I like to deal with spies elsewhere with other agents. So, another thing that you can do on the envoy tree that is interesting to me is to reduce the upkeep. So basically, I can probably field another army when I reducing the cost of 2, if not 3, and you have a limit of 3 envoys. So that helps in many regards. Now, the tree, the skills involving upkeep are really interesting in the envoy tree. I think this is the first one. All right, so the first step is this minus upkeep. And the second step is, well, you get a 10% melee attack or plus 8% damage. So this is the level 3 unlock, but later on you'll get trade-offs. So right here, first step is fatigue bonus, very important, and minus 5 upkeep. And the second choices are you get a negative to your unit and double the positive to your units. So in here, I can increase my melee attack by 10%, but take a 5% morale hit. Morale is very important for me. So I can do 10% morale bonus, but take a 5% melee attack bonus. So I chose this one. But I'm offsetting that negative with eventually this one here. Let me go over to, I'll explain why I haven't chosen that skill on that character. But right here, I have plus 10% melee attack plus the upkeep. So I net plus 10 morale plus 5 melee attack and plus 10 or minus 10 upkeep. And there's one down here. Okay, these are just positives. All right, so we have another upkeep, but minus 5 morale, 10% upkeep. So again, you get double the percentage in a bonus. So that 10% morale I got down here, I'm taking away 5% of that to give myself even better upkeep reduction instead of reducing my movement. Because I kind of never want to reduce my movement. Possibly I was considering doing this for like my garrison units, my home unit. I was thinking about taking this option. I'm not sure whether I did or not. So again, upkeep and then trade-offs. that I kind of counteract in other skills in the tree. So, like I said, very interesting the way they built this. So basically, I ended up with +5 movement, +5 melee attack, +5 morale, and +5. Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it. But, you know, a whole lot of upkeep reduction. And I'll have to test to see what my final percentage is. I haven't really bothered to figure it out. Again, and this is all with 30% off of building costs. And the rest are just kind of fillers to help out with defense or movement. And I hardly ever use the standing idle will produce better things for you. Again, I'm just always moving these guys around, and I find they're, you know, if they are not reducing costs on buildings, then I want them embedded in army, saving me upkeep. So I have 3 different skills. Minus cost for the agent. I did not remember that was. Oh no, that was just in general. Administrator, -5 upkeep. So this is definitely leaning more towards the upkeep side. The other one was influence whenever I do actions against my settlements or the other settlements. And that first one we were looking at is extra movement. Now, right now, I have an epic quest to send an emissary to Troy. Just land and, you know, get this unit inside that territory, and I complete the mission. So, depending on the events of this next turn, I may have an army up there causing problems, in which this might inevitably be an upkeep reduction for that army. And then when I'm kind of close enough, I'll finish off that epic. Otherwise, I'm just going, if my main army gets wiped out, then I'm just going to kind of give up on that campaign, concentrate on rebuilding what I have for the end game portion of this. Much of my buildings up to this point has been trying to get those agents all with max points, but now I've taken care of that. I can rebuild these places with my -30% discounts, plus other discounts that I've been researching and gathering along the way, to kind of reset those provinces the way I want them going forward on the cheap. But with the extra movement, I figured this will probably be the agent going up there, and so I kind of went in a different direction with their skills. They are focusing on attacking other settlements, foreign settlements, and that gives me increased where is it? Yeah, increased influence on the target region, and therefore its province. This is not the greatest bonus, because influence really doesn't affect a whole lot other than a couple of buildings. So we come down here to our influence, and provides additional resources if the influence of the province is 60% or more on certain buildings. Buildings like this, where you have 110 food per turn, but 170 more food if you have a higher influence. Same with, there's a basic version of that building as well. So in the long run, you're just kind of maybe starving them off if you swing their, influence enough. That's really not all that important. But in the skill tree for the envoys, you do have
I will do what is necessary.
some more interesting things that I thought I'd play around with. So, yep. Down here is the first one. Minus 20 happiness whenever you target a foreign. So, I target a foreign, I get influence from this ability. I get influence from just the attack itself and also reduce their happiness by 20. And there's another one down here. Where is it? And there it is again. Same thing. So, plus 10% actions against settlements. And when you're targeting your own, it's 100%. So this only applies when you're attacking other provinces or other regions. So, greater chance of success and minus 40 to happiness, and then plus 40 plus whatever the default influence gain is. Again, influence really doesn't mean a whole lot, but minus 40 happiness, you do that enough times, you can spark rebellion and cause problems for the faction. Not the greatest thing on earth, but it's something to play around with, and I wanted to have at least one option to kind of have an aggressive envoy. Again, this key ability, agent points will not drain if you fail, so you have unlimited attempts as long as you have the money to do it. And under optimum situations, these are free actions for me, I believe.
It would please me to speak with you.
Wisdom, wit, and expedience.
Okay.
I will further
There
your
we go.
aims.
So, to attack this settlement, it's for free. Under my current situations. So, I can attack unlimitedly until I reach success. But I still try and build up my success. Because, again, I'm resetting my temples, so I may have some times or some situations where it will actually cost me money, and so I don't want to just endlessly waste it on a bad cause. I don't want it left at 50% and then have 3 straight fails out of it. It's like, all right, well, do I still keep on going because I still want this thing to happen? In for a penny, in for a pound thing. So again, I try and get my percentage up fairly high, but that's just that one ability just is peace of mind more so than anything else, and I like having that certainty. And certainly always succeeding kind of keeps me away from, okay, well, do I really want to reload, or any of those temptations for my saves coming. So I try and not get scummy for these particular reasons. So I failed a 4-to-1 roll. Okay, I shouldn't do that, so I should reset. You're gonna lose 1 of every 5. So it makes taking the loss palatable because ultimately I can always win, and that's what I like about that ability, particularly for my playstyle. I think those are the major things. And, movement where possible. Cost of actions. I chose characters because there's one up here. Yeah, minus 25% against settlements. This pretty much gets me to that free spot. And I chose Though there's a 50% settlements and 50% characters. I went with characters because I already have free there, so this is going to do nothing for me. And this, I believe, makes it free for characters except for the treachery, which is accuser and godless again. And those are the targeting the priest. Yeah. So that's that. Envoys. Now on to my priest die. Oh, there we go. This is weird. Their tree, I don't care for. Much of it is you choose a ritual, you increase the cost of the rituals, and you get a 10% favor of rituals to that god. Now, the rituals target the god. All right. If you're targeting a city with a temple in it, whether it's yours or foreign, yours will always be 100%. Someone else's city, you will have a chance depending on how skilled you are. You will gain favor with that god only. And only if you selected the proper god skill will you get the extra 10% for having a bonus there. But regardless, if you choose another god, if you chose the wrong skill, you're still increasing the cost of your actions by 12%. So if I'm targeting Poseidon, a city with a temple of Poseidon in, and I have all three of these, I'm regardless getting 36% more costs, but I'm only increasing my Poseidon. So I generally don't like the trade-off on this at all, because most of these, this very first one, you have a god power and other things. So these are like targeting enemy settlements. Now, if you're targeting something other than a city, or a city that does not have a temple in it, you will gain favor in a random god. And if that random god happens to be one that you are skilled up in, then you'll get the 10% for that. But again, you're still paying, regardless of which one it is, that extra 12%. Now here, the very first is plus 7%, but 10% of your own settlements. And since I'm only targeting ones that I know that I will have a god in, I'm targeting a specific god to kind of keep their favor in a certain range. Then I get 10% in extra cost. This is kind of worth it for me. I'll even go so far as to create unhappiness upon success of my targeting my own settlement for another bite at bonuses. Because down here, this one, I get +3 and +3 when I target my own settlement. So that second tier stronger ability adds in an extra negative of -8, which I offset by spending 2 more points that I have an abundance of to negate that down to 12%. And then I get the stronger ability of greater favor instead of 5. They're both 10%, but the greater penalty. And so this to me is kind of worth it. I did have second thoughts about just not spending points there. Rituals have a cooldown of 2 turns. So basically within that 3 turn time frame, at most you're going to lose 30 favor with that god. I don't know whether I will lose 30 or something less than 30 if I don't have this. I believe with this I have 32, probably without it I have 29. But if I have... Oh, come on. Pull this up. If I spend the 500 stone here, I will always gain +2 favor for the gods. So that -10 becomes a -8 every turn. And at 29 will still kind of keep me above the waterline, if you will, of the decay. So I'm not exactly sure whether I needed that extra cost for all my rituals, 20% extra cost. But I thought about that after I spent it already. So once those are in, they're in, and I just didn't want to go back in time to do save to not have that. So it's okay. All right. Let's see what else.
I am your bridge to the divine.
So once you get into this kind of middle section, you're choosing, skills that I don't want for one god or the other, and this can kind of be annoying. Also, I'll try and get all right, so another thing is, whenever you get a crit on one of these rituals, every god gets 10% or 10 favor. And so I'm also stacking crit here a little bit. I think there's something in here with 20%. Yeah, 20% crit chance here. That's definitely why I chose this one. +2 while standing idle. This hardly ever is the case. Well, actually, sometimes I do have my priestesses standing there idle. And so that also gives me a +2 net over that 3-turn range, with these +6s and then the -8, and then 2 more turns of downtime where I'm just standing next to the city with the temple in it. And so if I'm doing the idle thing, I'm offsetting the happiness. I get 20% crit chance, and I'll have a bunch of favor to keep it in that top range. So that kind of stuff. The other thing I try and do with this tree is minus construction on the temple building. With 3 priestesses sitting in the same turn, I've got a -20%, I think, from the research tree. -10% here, -10% from if I happen to have... I'm switching this from the agent to the building. So 10% construction here. And then like 30% minus construction with the envoys. And I'll have free temples. I'll be able to... What I am going to do here is I'm going to tear up this, demolish this, get those resources back, and hopefully for free build it back to this top tier, because it will have 0 cost, and when it has 0 cost, you can rush it for free as well. So you can go just 1 turn reset if your priestesses are sitting there with their full action points. You haven't done anything with them. And so I'll do that at the beginning of the turn, use their ability, and then spend their movements, doing other things like, performing the ritual or what have you. So there's that. Let's see. And I think that's about all else I do with the trees. I can't think of anything else I want to talk about on those guys. So I'm going to take a quick break right now, come back and talk about what I want to do with the rest of this turn now that I've kind of gotten my agents to the place I want. So I'm going into my next phase of the campaign, and I'll talk about that when I get back. See you then. Okay, we are back, and let's talk about what's going on in the future. So as I said, I'm going to be resetting my buildings a lot. So even though I like I want to maintain this 20% off action cost, I definitely want to increase the favor on hecatombs and, more importantly, the administration efforts for royal decrees. So I want to get this reestablished as quickly as possible. I'm going to demolish this building. But before I do that and lose the 350 favor of Apollo, and maybe even 650 of it, I'll double check that next turn. I'm going to use the priestess that I recruited one turn ago, who now has all their action points, and I will... Oh, that was another thing I didn't say about priestesses. I mentioned this early on, but one of the most important role for the priestess is giving +2 for all agents. So I only needed one priestess to get that +2 to give my envoys and spies their maximum level, and so I saved the other 2 so they can get their full level points. So 290 is my cost, and 34 favor. So yeah, I definitely do not need that first or that second level action. So that's just wasted food. And so now I'm going to demolish this. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to redo this configuration into making followers of Artemis, the supreme archers you can get from religion. Now, surprisingly, it is one of the few units you can get from religion in historic mode. They kept them in there while removing all the special agents or the epic agents and some of the epic single unit, like centaurs, or not the centaurs, but the minotaurs, cyclops. There's another unit that I forget how to pronounce their name. So they got rid of all of those in historic mode, as they should. But they left in these archers because they are just a unit of specialized archers. They're just kind of, I don't know, religious zealots, I guess. So, because I have all 4 regions, this is the maximum level that you can have in the province, I can stack some bonuses here. Namely, this right here. I get extra ammunition, extra experience, and for recruitment. So 4 provinces, I get maximum recruitment here. Let's see, and then over here we can convert this into a bower for that bonuses, but we're going to also convert this into this and get even more ammunition when we get up to here. So the temple back here is going to be for Artemis, and that in and of itself gives us 15% accuracy and ammunition on top of things. So these are going to be more accurate, have a whole lot of ammo, like a gross obscene amount of ammo, and be max, if not near max, experience level. And basically I will get as many of these units as I can that my bronze can take. And let's see here. I've got demo hanging out here.
I'll break the enemy.
So these can only be recruited in a place that has a wood within the province. Actually, why can't you recruit that? I guess you need the building? Oh, no, you need the favor. Okay. Let's see.
All right.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. That's what I wanted to do. So, followers of Artemis? Okay. Oh, no. Okay.
It will be epic.
What's the name of these? I am Warriors of Archimedes. How silly of me. Why can't I recruit them? Because I guess I haven't prayed.
Forging war.
Here we go. So upkeep of bronze of 20. So I can get 10 of these. So yeah. And they're just amazing units. So with 10, so 2, 5, and 10. So I need, so 10 is the max that I can have altogether. And I will need to have the highest level of favor in order to unlock those 10 and to pray for them. So that's where I'm going to spend my bronze, the rest of my bronze. Maybe some chariots. I don't know. We'll see how that works out. I also kind of want to get some more chariots. And Lycia is not helping me out by Building the building that has the non-bronze versions. I can double check on that.
I am sure our discourse will bear fruit.
My silly mouse. Oh, so they have Eastern Spearmen now. That's nice. Finally. So yeah, 50 bronze for their elite version. So that's 5 Artemis. That's, I can win that. Yep. Still haven't built it. All right. So that's what I'm going to be doing here. Converting. Now, this I'm going to keep as my call to arms. And I'm going to take away the lighthouses. And I'm going to replace these with the one-turn Temple of the Dike here. And I'm going to put in one of those boweries here for some extra experience. So yeah, extra experience, extra ammo for any missile units recruited in this. And I believe that does include the globals. Actually, I know that they include the globals because I got all that bonus experience for the shielded on the bronze version. So I have that here, a little extra ammo here, a little extra ammo there, experience for shields, and then, you know, one turn recruitment. So that'll be a nice little zone here. I'm going to keep this as is. I'm going to garrison this guy up here for a little bit to increase the happiness. Get it well without a range of rebellion. Eventually, I'm probably going to move this down to Sparta. Throw in
To victory!
5 extra archers or warriors of Artemis. And then leave the 2 spots open for chariots. And that will be my Helen, you ain't leaving home again garrison. But, you know, also for story purposes, you know, a lot of these kings around me wanted Helen originally before I married her. And it's only because of the arrangement that the idea that Odysseus came up with, that everyone swore whoever married Helen, they would all attack whoever broke the vow. And so that's kind of like the reason for the whole Trojan War, is because Trojan stole my wife, so everyone is obligated by that oath to go get her back, or to deal with the betrayer. So in case any of these guys said, well, you know, shoot, you're not taking care of Helen, I could do a lot better, I'm going to attack you from behind, I'll have this nice beefy stack sitting in Sparta to deal with that. Just like Troy has this big beefy stack that I can't see sitting there, ready to defend Troy. So that's just a little story element. And again, back to the intro of this series, I'm trying to find campaigns that make sense if this was real. That I wouldn't leave my homeland completely unprotected just to wage endless war with my one and only army out in the field. So I kind of want to have defenses, offenses, and, some protection here and there in the important places. And one of those other important places I'll talk about soon. So, over here in this city, I'm going to tear this down eventually when I get the priestesses up here, and I'm going to build... Ooh, what did I just do? I think I just... Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to have to... I think I just instant built the next one, spent gold on it, which I definitely don't want to do. Seeing how I'm about to tear this down eventually. So... Definitely going to have to reload. But, yeah, Hephaestus. One thing about their temples is you can increase armor and attack, melee attack, by recruiting here or bringing your troops here and upgrading them, essentially. So, I will want to convert that here. It's kind of close to Sparta. It's kind of close to my global recruitment here. So that's a nice thing for this one region, province to do. All right. Converting that to bows. Converting that to global. Down here, this is probably where I'm going to rebuild my temple of Zeus, no, Apollo, to get back that 20% off. And the downside is that I have to send the priestess down just to hang out here and keep that Apollo up. So may not be Apollo here. I'll have to think about that. In fact, probably not here. Rhodes. Rhodes is still kind of vulnerable to attack, and certainly is the target of attack. It isn't right now because I got some stuff going on in the north that they're concentrating on. But I think once that is resolved, if that is, this may be a target again or may not be. So depending on that, I may keep up these guard towers. Otherwise, I would convert this over into another global recruitment zone over in the east. And there are some things that I want to do there. But I'm definitely going to keep this here for the recruitment of heroes and the defensive of all units coming in. So any of the global recruits, I'm going to have extra defense, which is always nice. But in a pinch, I kind of want to keep this favor up because I can pray and get a +4 to recruitments and extra recruitment slots. So that's kind of interesting. And, you know, to take my 3 or 4 recruitments and increase them for when I'm recruiting the warriors of Artemis, I can get all 5 at the same time and then 5 in another place the next turn. And just kind of, you know, have that as a quicker recruitment with extra experience. And so they will definitely be capped out. So, going to keep that there. But kind of like this as it is. I'm going to put in here eventually this for my elite units that may or may never recruit. But if I do, it's likely going to be in roads because most or half of them, I would say, have shields on them, and so would benefit from having the shield here and the defensive here. Otherwise, the only other bronze that I have shields does not have a city in it with some sort of temple bonus going on, and also will not have the +5 bonus going on from my other bronze place. So that's my idea right here. This is going to be another recruitment area. Down here, I was not thinking about Apollo, but maybe Apollo here because I can just have one priestess moving back and forth here to keep both up and running. So I may do, in fact, let's just decide right now. I'm going to do Apollo here. This, if I survive the turn, I'm giving away more than likely to do the carrions while I'm still sitting in it. Get as much resources as possible. And then moving up here and just trying to hold on to this as a kind of base of operations to just start causing mayhem up here. But if I lose, if I get wiped out in the off turn, then I will definitely lose this city, but I will trade this away probably to Ithaca and let them have fun here and have a kind of base of operations there, even though they already have one. But this more of a chance to get the whole province and just to kind of own this going forward. So that's kind of my plans here. Again, that's going to be trade bait or my base of operations. This I'm happy with as is. They did not, when retaking here, did not sack this, so I didn't get this on this timeline that I ended up. But they are actually winning the war now because they've gained this gold. So just kind of take up any sacked, places in here, and just kind of put them on the back burner. Eventually, this will rebel. Actually, it may not. I don't know why it won't. I must have some other bonus going on with happiness, but usually there's a happiness decay here because I've got -5 from taxes and only +1 here, -2 here, and doesn't do anything for happiness. So eventually these places do rebel, but maybe some of the other forces will come by and deal with them. Otherwise, I still have a 14 stack of garrisons that generally can hold out against whatever the rebels throw at me. Sometimes it gets difficult. Here is another city. I'm going to try and build up to 5 and get those elite bonuses faction wide. I don't know what I want to do here. This is on the front line, so I definitely will do the fort and happy to increase the defensiveness, but outside of that, I'm not exactly sure. Other than maybe a Temple of Ares and kind of do maybe a place for chargers that don't have shields, so can't benefit from bronze. Actually, that might be good right here, and is not hopelessly far away from getting those upgrades here. Oh, actually, they're a little further than I thought. But yeah, I mean, like I said, not hopelessly far away from there. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll do an Ares here and do some charging units. Let's see. The elite. Growth will go away eventually. So shielded, or all right, shields, two-handed, shield and two-handed. Shielded, two-handed, shielded. So, yeah, I don't know what I want to do here. But it's got a long way to get up to 5 for me to really worry about it. In the meantime, it's just going to be there's defensive, kind of. And so, yeah, we're back up to here. So we've done the full circuit. That's kind of what I'm intending to do going forward. So it'll be interesting to see if I survive the next turn.
Agamemnon's kin.
And I'm going to end the episode right here. I'm going to do some thinking about if I want to do a replacement here right before I get killed and who I would send in to take a hit for the team. So I will talk to you all later. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. Click the bell icon for that future update. Comment your thoughts on what I'm doing with agents or what I'm doing with these different phases of the campaign. Do you approach things in similar ways, or do you go about other type of overarching strategies? I'm curious to know. Take care, everyone. Until next time, bye.